You. We on live. Welcome to Shot the Culture, where we shot the culture through conversations and content that leads to actions, and those actions lead to results. I'm Dom.
Kirk Rich.
What's going on, y'all? We got a special guest today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Oh man, none other than your man Richie Evans, live and direct. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Sir, we got Mr. Richie Evans on here. If there's
Sir.
any independent artists, entrepreneurs, this is the episode for you.
Absolutely.
We're gonna pick Richie's brain. We're gonna ask the good questions. We're gonna do it today. So want to start off, man. Crazy. This a bar now, because this your Instagram name.
Man.
Who is Richie?
Man, uh, you know, short form, you know what I mean? Richie is definitely that guy. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I just Richie, a independent artist from the West, who definitely been putting in his time and putting in his, his business, you know what I'm saying, to definitely um uplift his city and his community, you know what I'm saying, as well as making the name and putting his blueprint into the culture, you know what I mean, musically. You dig? So definitely one of them artists out right now trying to definitely gain his respect, you know what I'm saying, from a musical aspect. You know what I mean? I come from a city, known as Phoenix, Arizona, that's definitely not um on the map like in LA, or New York, or Chicago, or in Atlanta. So, a lot of the people who's definitely not privy of who I am, though, you know what I mean? I make sure that the body of work and music is strongly aligned, that they got something to base it off of. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, your EP is dope. I definitely said, if nobody knows who you were and they click play, they gonna rock with you after that, bro. So salute to that for making dope music.
Man, I definitely appreciate it, man. The mission was definitely to put a great body of work together, man, that people can press play and vibe to. So I appreciate that.
Well, for sure. So the question I have is like, what was life like for you before rap?
Kind of the same like everybody else, man. I was just a young dude trying to find his way. You know what I mean? My pops was in the military. I was born in Philly, but I was raised, you know what I'm saying, out west. Went through the typical shit that a lot of teenage cats go through. You know what I mean? Of course, I dealt with the, mom and pops had the split. You know what I mean, and had to be, you know what I'm saying, a strong supporter for my moms. And like I said, I was just definitely out there really trying to find my way, man. I use music more as an outlet and as a vessel. You know what I'm saying, for me to kind of a vessel for me to kind of explain myself to the masses without crashing myself, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That definitely makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah.
Shout out to your pops for serving, man. My pops served as well.
Man, absolutely. Salute, respect.
For sure. So would you say music was like a form of therapy for you?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it was. You know what I mean? Like I said, at a young age, not to get too in depth, but like I said, I went through the process of when my mom and dad ended up splitting up, and it started to cause a little friction and divide for myself, and I had to go to anger management at a young age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And going and doing something like that at a young age, it wasn't the popular thing. Of course, I didn't want nobody to know, because when you're young, you talking about you going to talk to somebody, or see a shrink, they put you in the classification of being crazy or something. You know what I mean? And it definitely wasn't that, man. It was just, I definitely was just trying to find my steps, and like I said, doing anger management for a while definitely helped me take the approach by, just like I said, writing down my emotions and life lessons that I've been going through in music form.
I want to ask a question off of that.
Yeah.
Do you mind expounding on how old you were when that happened?
Yeah. So I'm gonna be G with you, man. I've been going to I was going to anger management for like half my life. You know what I'm saying? I started going when I was 13, 12 to 13. You know what I'm saying? I went for exactly at that particular time, I want to say maybe 4 years. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, at that particular time, man, did the high school thing, graduated, went to
Yeah.
college. You know what I'm saying? I think I kind of had a pulse of kind of where I was trying to go, but I ended up going back. You know what I'm saying? Just as a grown man. You know what I mean? And truthfully, man, it was kind of the best thing for me, man. I was able to really, communicate some of the frustrations and the demons that a lot of us males, possess. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, I was able to discuss and balance those out. You know what I'm saying? Before, like I said, them demons or those situations took over, and I may have crashed and burned and did some shit that I necessarily, wouldn't agree with today.
Who who guided you in that direction? Because that's pretty dope. Like, at 13, you go to anger management and you start making music
Yeah,
versus going the street route or going to do something like you're saying, crash out.
yeah.
Who kind of gave you that vision? Like, hey, you're gonna go to anger management, and then who was your influences? Two-part question: who was your influences to make you say, let me do some music? That might help out too.
So to be completely, it wasn't that I was willing to. I was forced to go to anger management. You know what I mean? Like I said, as a kid, I'm kicking up dust. I'm fighting at school. I'm
Okay.
happy. I'm having my moments. You know what I'm saying? And living on a military base, man, they really not gonna have that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, basically the base commander at that particular point was like, it ain't like they can throw me in jail. I was still a kid. You
Right.
know what I mean? So they forced me to go to anger management. You know what I mean? Like it was like an obligation thing. Like, listen, if you don't, go complete these classes, you know what I'm saying, and speak to somebody about some of these issues that you're dealing with, we're gonna forcefully sit you down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that's how it initially started. And then, like I said, how it even got to the aspect of music, I was a little rebellious. You know what I mean? Like I said, as a young kid, you over here talking to somebody and they're like asking you a million and one questions. I'm like, how you gonna tell me how I'm supposed to feel? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, like how you gonna tell me how I'm supposed to feel? So I definitely was a little bit, rebellious at first. But I remember, man, my anger management teacher ended up, flipping the script and was like, yo, here's what we're gonna do. If you don't want to talk to me about it, why don't you go ahead and put it into like uh poetry form or write it on paper? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And that's when I just, like I said, man, kind of started just coming into my own and finding a way to kind of express myself, you know what I'm saying, through that form.
That's dope.
Right. Right. So, how old were you when you got the name Juice?
Man, well, like I said, like that name, traveled with me as a kid. I used to hoop and play sports, and it
Okay. Okay.
it was the childhood nickname. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it stuck with me for a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
It definitely stuck with me through my musical career. And then, like I said, man, I was end up facing, facing the opposition to make a transition at that time. You know,
Okay.
and people ask like, yo, what was the reason from you changing your name from Juice to Richie? You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I just said growth. It comes a time in your life where little monkey turned gorilla, and he want to stand on his own and create his own legacy. And I
Right.
felt like ain't nothing more realer than the name your mama gave you. You feel me?
Ooh,
Right.
that's true. That's a bar. You gotta click that one up.
Yeah. Ain't no
Hey,
nothing
and,
really name than your mama gave you.
and to play off of that, see, because we both come from a sports background.
Sure.
He
Yeah.
was a standout hooper. I played football. Do you feel like that sports background helps you in this
Absolutely.
industry in terms of like with work ethic and all that good stuff?
Absolutely. I definitely, like I said, was a, hard nosed hooper, you know what I'm saying? And um, it definitely helped me, what I'm saying, on a lot of my journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just through a lot of situations, just, understanding being coachable. You know what I'm saying? Understanding, you know what I mean? There's pecking orders with, certain things, you know what I'm saying? And,
Right.
knowing that there is a team, you know what I'm saying, and other people that you can rely on, you know what I'm saying, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So, you know, the sports attribute definitely helped me, you know what I'm saying, form a lot of my, success on kind of where I am today.
Excellent.
Right. That's actually very, very good and profound for anyone listening.
Real.
I mean, they ask that on in regular job interviews. Have you ever played a sport? And they take in consideration everything that you just said.
Absolutely.
So we're at Juice now.
Yeah.
So you meet the game.
Yeah.
You were Juice when you met the game.
Yeah. Well,
How did that happen that night at the nightclub? How did that happen? Did you put yourself in a position to see him, or did y'all bump into each other? Was this a plan? Was this?
I was going
I
broke.
want to dig in.
I was going for broke that night. You know what I mean? Truthfully, I was at the studio working on a mixtape, and I ended up getting a call, and my lady told me that she was pregnant, first child, everything. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what? And she like, yeah, I'm pregnant. And of course, at that particular time, man, my dream and my focus was music. You know what I mean? But she was on the other end of that phone, like, you may have to find another outlet. You may have to join the military like your pops. You may have to, we got a child to look after now. So, I was a little bit more aggressive that night, just, like I said, finding out that, my life is about to change. I ended up leaving the studio and I was on my way home, but I was going to stop and get a drink to kind of cool out. And I see a Lambo up front. And when I walk in, I see Swiss Beats and I see Game. For people who don't know, the Rough Riders was heavily big and influential in Phoenix, a few years back. Some people know that's where DMX lived at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where, Cassidy recorded his first couple albums. Swiss Beats owned a couple clubs. Like, they definitely, built some roots out there in Phoenix. But at that time, man, like I said, I had one disc in my pocket, just found out that I'm about to have a kid. I felt like Eminem, nigga, you got to go for what you know. Like he right there, you know what I'm saying? Like, go make that happen, So definitely went to the VIP, man, and his manager was right there, his security was right there, and I was like, look, all due respect, I know you guys got some things going on. I don't want to crowd your space. I just want to make sure I give this CD to Game. And, of course, the manager was like, nah, you can give it to me and I'll make sure it gets to him. And, a lot of artists have been in that situation where we've gave CDs to managers, security guards, assistants, and it never quite got back to the person that it needed to get to. You know what I'm saying? So, that night I just wasn't having it. I was like, nah, bro, I ain't on that type of time right now. Game ended up getting up, going to the bar. So when he moved to the bar, everybody went with him. I slid through, tapped him on the shoulder. I turned around, Everybody kind of snatched me up, and I was like, look, man, I just found out that I'm about to have a kid. All due respect. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to cause no problems, no issues. I just wanted to make sure that you get this CD. I said, your manager, your security guard, I hear all that, but tonight, nah. I just wanted to make sure you got it. If you throw it away, I'm cool with that. At least I know you got it.
You got it, yeah.
And I sat there for a couple minutes, man. They end up escorting him and Swiss Beats out. And then the next morning at 9 a.m., man, I got a phone call and a plane ticket. And it was Black Wall from that point.
That was a crazy shot you took.
Facts. Like I tell people all the time, man, that day literally changed my life. You know what I mean? Like literally, like no matter how I cut the pie, man, that day changed my life for sure.
Right.
And I don't want to speak past that because I feel like it's something valuable there. Because you might have had, let's say 100 people were in that same situation. They find out everybody had their own kid. Everybody had their first child. I feel like 95% of them would be like, you know what, I'm gonna hang this thing up. So what was it that made you go, all right, this is going to make me go harder. This is going to make me go for broke instead of just being like, you know what, I'm just going to hang it up. I'm just going to go ahead and just get a regular job or serve.
It kind of goes back to what we were speaking about earlier about sports. Some niggas rise to the occasions and some niggas don't. You know what I mean? I was really one of them ones on the court, baby. You know what I'm saying? So, I've never been afraid to shy away from the spotlight. So I kind of looked at it as a competitive thing. You know what I mean? Like, you've been in moments like this before, baby. How you cut, how you build. You feel me?
Yeah.
And like I said, man, I'm glad I did it, man. Because like I said, the next day, man, he called, he gave me a plane ticket, and I was to LA, and it was Black Wall, since then.
Ooh, that's clutch.
So in your intro to your
Mhm.
EP, niggas think my nigga Game tried to help me.
Mm.
At times I feel he tried to sign me to shelf me. Then I
Mm.
realized he had to save himself. Then to
Mm.
worry about
Worry
this young
about it,
nigga asking
nigga,
for
for
some
some
help.
help. On God.
So what happened in that relationship that led to you opening up your EP like that?
A few things, man. I first want to say, shout out to the big homie Game. Game gave me he gave me a platform. Game showed me what this industry was about, for sure. I was able to be a student and learn from his successes as well as his mistakes. You know what I mean? I was able to, really see his work ethic and garnish what it really took to be a star. You got to understand, Game was at that time, Game was a superstar.
This was
You know what I mean?
documentary Game too, right?
Right. Well, Doctor's Advocate. Right after that.
Exactly. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So he full fledged the game at that point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like that next day when I flew to LA, from that point on, we was in the studio working on the Doctor's Advocate. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, I was able to learn and garnish a ear. You know what I'm saying? I really took the understanding to see how you create a great body of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though, I feel nowadays Game don't really get his justice musically, not because of the music, because of a lot of, I would say, off-court antics that like kind of go on. I think it shades a lot of his success. But people fail to realize, bro, that Dog got one of the best albums ever.
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 Documentary
The
easily.
documentary, yeah. You know what I mean? The documentary goes up there with the Chronic and the Illmatics and the, you know what I'm saying, the Reasonable Doubts and the, all that. You know what I mean? So, like I said, to learn and him giving me all the tools and attributes to become who I wanted to become, I thought was dope. But even also through that time, man, there was a lot of turmoil. There was a big beef between him and 50 Cent, you know what I'm saying, that ultimately affected everybody up under that roster. And at that time, I'm like, man, I'm in here cooking. I'm working on my album, helping you with your album. Like, what's the holdup? I'm over there asking myself, like, man, it can't be something that I'm doing because I'm really in here cooking. Like, I'm in here locked in this motherfucker 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. every night with this nigga.
Sheesh.
You know what I mean? And, we all waited. But until we all got a little bit more mature and really start understanding the business and kind of seeing how this was really about, that's when my heart was a little bit more understanding. You know what I'm saying? No man wants to look at an artist that they sign and tell them that they can't take them to the level that they want to. Not because they don't want to, but because they contractual obligation ain't right. You know what I mean? And that's something that we all had to learn. And that's where I go back to say, in that record, like, nothing was happening, man. I sat up on the Game for years, wasn't able to put out no album, no mainstream single, no nothing. And I started getting frustrated. But like I said, I didn't start understanding the business and understanding really what he was going through till a little bit later. I knew that, how can he put me out when he wasn't solidified in his own career? You know what I mean? And it took time for me to learn that.
Okay. That's clutch. So I see, like, you mentioned family a lot, you mentioned team a lot.
Yeah.
So coming out of Phoenix, what's the vision that you see for yourself and your team and your city, Phoenix, within the next 5 years?
As far as myself and my team, man, right now I think we're trying to do everything that we can for us to be represented on the national stage in the right way. You know what I mean? Like I said, man, when niggas get to talking about Phoenix and they get to talking about me, one thing I want them to be like is like, listen, shit, I don't really know too much about Phoenix or Boy, but I do know that he makes strong music. He do make quality music, and I just heard, boy is solid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm definitely, like I said, trying to get us on a national, gain us some national recognition and national respect. But even also, man, like I said, hopefully being a vessel to help some of these younger kids who come from here, man, to give them an opportunity and a shot. I think that that's what it's all about. Like I said, somebody gave me a shot. It's only right to look back and show that same love in return. You know what I mean? So we definitely out here doing a lot of community work as far as, representing the brand and, making sure that we get looked at and move, the right way. And we definitely gaining that respect and love out here for sure.
Sure. Yeah. Salute to you and the team, man. For real, for real.
Love.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Salute. Go ahead, Kurt.
Oh no. So one thing we had in this landscape right here, what do you think is more important? Do you think the talent or the hustle is more important in helping you to become successful?
For me,
Like in general, if you were talking to, some artists who want to make it, you got a super talented artist who think, okay, I'm nice, I should get it, versus the guy who, let's do the sports style since we are athletes.
yeah.
You a GM, right? You an executive. Which one are you drafting? The super talented guy who just like, give me a studio, I could do anything, but outside of that, I don't do much. Or the one who's not as talented, but who has crazy hustle.
Yeah, vision and work ethic is big for me.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Because I believe that if a person got the vision and he got the hustle, you know what I'm saying, he can garnish the attributes to become great. I look at, it's funny that you say that because I was having a discussion the other day about Jim Jones. Like, I'm a real big Jim Jones fan. And what I mean by that is I'm a fan of Jones because I seen his journey of when, niggas wasn't respecting Jones like that musically back in the day. Like, everybody knew Cameron was the one, Jewels was the one,
Right.
Jimmy used to get a bar off every now and then, but he wasn't somebody that niggas was really checking for. And through his journey, you know what I'm saying, I've witnessed his growth. You know, Jones has made some great bodies of works within the last few years or so. You know what I mean? From the El Chapo to the Kitchen to whatever. I look at it like that. If a person has the vision and drive to be great, you can learn the attributes of, you know, some of those things that those superstar people got. You know what I'm saying?
for sure.
So yeah, I definitely go with the vision and the hustle before anything. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Right. So within the vision and the hustle,
Yeah.
that's a great segue into my question. Um, Richie, you're independent, man. You're
Yeah.
not you're not a pro athlete either.
Right.
How did you get a deal with Nike and Vitaminwater?
To be honest with you, man, I get asked that all the time. I think it's just the aura and just the way a nigga move, man. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? I mean, um, one thing about me and my team, man, we big on going the extra mile. Like I said, we come from a city that's unknown, so everything that we do gotta be great. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever a nigga from New York doing, we gotta be that and some. You know what I mean? So I make sure that we utilize that same type of mentality and thought process in everything that we do, even in business. And I think that when it comes to Nike and when it comes to Vitaminwater, I just think that we just possessed a equal a equal look, you know what I'm saying, and a equal movement as some of these other people where they had to fuck with me. Like, if it's kind of like the Can't Knock the Hustle record. I
Right.
think that me and Rose was so organic on that record. You have to fuck with that record. If a nigga tell me like I ain't fucking with that, that just means you just an automatic hater, my dog, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. But my goal was to make that record so solid that no matter how you feel, you gotta respect it. You know what I mean? And I feel that that's one of those moves that some of these, corporate companies, you know what I'm saying, look at. Like, you know what? Bro out there really moving the right way. You know what I'm saying? His image is intact. When I talk to Buddy, you know what I'm saying, on a personable and business level, he's there. You know what? Him and his team is really out here putting in work. How could we not fuck with that? How could we not support that? You know?
That's real.
That makes sense. And can't knock the hustle. Ross,
Man,
dope
Yes.
track. It's smooth. As soon as I cut it on, I was humming a Ross verse because you knew the cadence that was coming. You
come
knew how
on,
y'all was gonna jump on it.
Yeah.
come
How,
on,
how did that happen, bro? Like what?
man.
Talk about that.
I was out in LA working on the highly favored EP, and actually me and Ross end up staying at the same hotel that night.
Oh man.
We got some mutual people, and it was just a breath of fresh air, man. He was like, Rich, come holler at me. You know what I mean? We ended up having a drink, and he was just, checking on me. You know what I mean? And we had a great conversation. And when I played the record, it's ironic because he looked at me and was like, nigga, that's something I would have picked for my album.
Right.
Yeah, the
It
beat it
fit.
sounds like a Ross beat.
Right.
Yes.
Like, bro,
Yes.
and he told me that straight out of his mouth, like, bro, this shit's, man, I'd have picked this for my album. You know what I mean? But again, I feel that it was just putting them in a situation that was so organic and so free, and the music spoke for itself. How could you not support that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We, of course, we end up speaking a little bit. He wondered about what my label situation was, and I told him, I was like, my ultimate goal is I want to try to build a Maybach empire one day. You know what I mean? But let's be clear. I'm not opposed to, you know, having a mentor or somebody like him, you know what I'm saying, that can help me execute to the next level. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I feel like I'm here, but there's a lot of steps that I want to go before I become who I really want to become. And he's definitely one of those people that can help guide that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, man, he ended up loving the record. He ended up shooting it back to me a couple days later. Just had to get on my hustle, man, and got to vibing with him for a little bit. We ended up scheduling doing the video, and boom, it was off to the races.
Yeah, that dope video too. It looked like y'all had fun.
We did,
Vibe,
man. Like I said,
vibe was crazy.
it was organic.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man. Um, Ross really fuck with me like that. Like I said, we've been politicking actually for these last few months, like kind of heavy. You know what I
Right.
mean? We've been he been inviting me out, you know what I mean, to a few spots, and like I said, he loved the wave and loved the way I'm moving. You know what I mean? Of course, there's some conversations going on right now. You know what I mean, about the whole MMG shit. But yeah, we working it out.
Yeah. So MMG Richie on the way.
There's like I said, I don't want to jump the gun too much. I mean, but that is
Yeah.
the conversation that's going on right now. We're just trying to see if we can make it make sense. You know what I mean? Definitely, if it's something that I do, you know what I mean, my team has to be a part of. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got to ride with the people who seen the belief in you before everybody else. You know what I mean? Um, so like I said, we're definitely having conversations and trying to maybe iron out this thing the right way. But that conversation is definitely being had right now, though. So
Yeah. Hey man, well, we definitely hope it does whatever the terms are, and if you could bring your squad, I know that's gonna be dope. Why
yeah,
not? I mean, like you said, your squad helped you get here. They believed in you.
yeah,
Why not keep the same
yeah,
energy around that artist so he could keep doing what he was doing, right?
yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy because that's one thing that I was expressing to Rose as well.
Yeah.
I've been making sure that as much as I've been around, I'm making sure that he see my team around too. Keep the same faces, the same energy, so that organicness is just family like. You know what I mean? So, we definitely, like I said, putting in our leg work and putting in our grind. Like I said, it's just gonna take a little bit of time to iron it out, but we definitely, headed that way.
Now
Salute to you.
your EP, man. Speaking of legwork and groundwork, Eric Bellinger, Vado,
Yeah,
J Rock,
yeah,
Ross.
yeah.
That I mean, that's a lineup for independent artists on the EP.
Right.
That's how long did it take you to put the EP together? Like when you figured out a highly favored, how long until you from the start to finish?
So truthfully, I started in COVID.
Wow.
You know what I mean? COVID was definitely a blessing for me emotionally and spiritually. And I say that to say this, before COVID, man, we all was moving 100 miles a minute, chasing the check, trying to magnify the hustle. But what COVID did for me, you know what I'm saying, it really sat me down and made me reflect. It made me get a little bit more in tune with myself. You know what I'm saying? It really made me, you know what I mean, bunker down and grow. You know what I'm saying? As a man. Um, I was able to outline my plays and outline my program and really fine tune all the things that I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Moving forward. And highly favored was the first thing on that list. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know what I mean, through COVID, I was reaching out to some of the artists, and I've met in passing and have personal relationships with. You know what I'm saying? So it was dope. You know what I mean? Like I said, shout out to my man J Rock over there at TDE. Shout out to Eric Bellinger, shout out to Vito, shout out to Rose.
Still listening Redemption.
Man, truthfully, he just dropped he about to drop his new album soon. I think he dropped his new single the other day.
Okay. Yep.
Yes.
Shout out to J Rock, shout out to TDE.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, like I listen to it. I like to listen to music in 3 different settings. Of course, on the cell phone.
Yeah.
Of course, in the speakers. But the car test, it passes the car test.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
It does.
It bumps. So, and you're talking that talk. You're very intentional with your bars, and you're talking that talk. So, when did you realize with highly favored that you like, you know what, I got one? Like, when did you realize that?
The vibe was always there. You know what I mean? And I just think that when we end up putting it out, and when it ended up charting at number 25, that was a big deal for me. Us as musicians, we always going to feel some type of way about our craft. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just hopefully that the world, appreciates it and respects it as much as we do. You know what I mean? So when I end up putting it out, and I started looking at the numbers, and I was like, man, like, people is really fucking with it. Like niggas was hitting my DM like, bro, this shit ride from top to bottom, like no skips. You know what I mean? It really put a solid humbleness to me. You know what I mean? So I knew I had something in. You know what I mean? I knew I had something in.
For sure.
You your EP, like, how did you decide how you wanted to promote the EP, and that you only wanted to do a certain number of tracks versus calling it doing a few more tracks and calling it an album?
Right. Well, that was, like I said, that was strategically planned. For me, it was because, like I said, going through the process of the name change, going through the process of, the Black Wall Street situation, I wanted to make sure that, how can I say it? I wanted to make sure that this project was strong enough to garnish their attention, just to get the listen. Like, you know what? Let me see what Buddy about. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to do a full, LP, because, like I said, I knew I had to, one, convert the old supporters and listeners who supported me then, but also it had to be strong enough, you know what I'm saying, to the ear to grab the new supporters. You know what I mean? So I was like, I just got to give them just enough, again, 6 joints, just enough that they can rock with, to be like, you know what? This shit hard. What else he got? You know what I mean? Because now I'm on the radar. I'm gonna follow up with a full length LP. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely strategic for me to just, like I said, give them a solid EP, man, just to kind of recirculate the name, get the attention, let everybody know, like, nah, bro, for real. And then now I'm gonna go ahead and push all buttons. You know what I'm saying? And drop that full length LP. So if you hear Ross and J Rock and Vito, you can imagine what's on that LP though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that, bro.
That lot of dope features on that. And Kurt, I gotta expound on that car test. Like, I did the same thing. I played it. We do the same stuff. So definitely played it on the phone first. And I went in the whip on the way to work. I was like, yo, this sound really good through the speakers.
Yeah.
Don't got to turn it up real loud. Put it
Yeah.
on moderate. Hear the
I mean,
beats ride. It
it
sounds
it,
good.
it goes back to what I was telling you earlier. Like, you know what I mean? Anything that I do, I feel like I gotta do it like anybody else, but and some. You know what I mean? You know, of course, you know, I went through the same mixing and mastering process. You know, I went to my man Ali from TDE.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna do it, I gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? My
Right.
back is already against the wall from where I'm from. I'm not gonna give a nigga no minute to not support what I got going on. You know what I mean? That nigga Ali mixing Kendrick, he mixing J Rock, he mixing, you know what I mean, Schoolboy, he mixing ASAP Rocky, he, you know what I mean, Cole album. Like, so I'm definitely gonna make sure that I align myself and make my shit, you know, elite as it can be, for sure.
I got a question based off of what you just said, because you know, right now, like everything you're saying, and we definitely appreciate you again for coming on, man. Like everything that you're talking about is basically preparation,
Absolutely,
preparing, planning,
absolutely, absolutely,
making sure everything is A1.
absolutely.
Yes.
How do you balance that? Now, let me skip back. You say you were in the studio 12 hours straight, a
Right.
lot of days, 6A to 6P. So
Yep.
that means you got a lot in the vault.
Yeah.
How do you balance all this need to be quality versus, man, just drop it. Just drop it. Just drop it.
So, you know, it's funny that you say that. I'm not a just drop it type of nigga. I was early on in my career, like, you know, but I felt like, you know, everybody was like, yeah, you know, yeah, you know, he just a mixtape rapper. Like that was the thing. You know, Game was known for the 300 bars, and he was known for the Black Wall Street Journal Volume 1s and 2s, and you know, he was known for the mixtape circuit. And you know, I used to get a little bit offended by that. You know what I mean? Niggas would be like, oh no, he just a mixtape rapper. You know, he ain't gonna drop no smashes. And I'm like, nigga, to be real with you, that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it misconstrued. Like, nigga, man, you know that fly nigga energy, them female records, I get in my fab bag real quick on you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, no, I definitely, like I said, just you know, made sure that I just had that shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I purposely wanted to make sure that I had records on there that were radio bound, that were, you know, that could be played on MTV and BET. You know what I'm saying? And you know that can compete with some of the heavy hitters that's out. You know what I mean? You know, I want you to be like, shit, you know, you can play this EP against, you know what I'm saying, anything that was out at that particular time and now. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely try to have a good little diverse of music, something that everybody can take away something from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something cool for your lady to ride with. You know what I mean? Something for niggas to hustle and motivate to. Also giving, you know, a nigga a good little word in there. You know what I mean? Just on some stand up grown man shit. You know what I mean? Also as well as, you know, pressure, you know, reaching out to J Rock and Eastside K Boy, and you know, letting niggas know like, shit, you know, don't get it misconstrued. The nigga can bar game you up too. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely try to deliver a diverse, wholesome body of work.
For
Um,
sure.
so you do a real good job of looking at what's working, copying it, but putting Richie's spin on it.
Absolutely. I was just about to say, but definitely putting my own vision and outlook on it. You know what I mean?
Can you give me three things that you like that's your checklist that you look at? Like, so you said you could put your EP next to these the artists, the big time artists that got their thing going on.
Yeah.
What are some things that you look at? Like if I'm listening to Highly Favored
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm putting it up against Business is Business.
Right.
What's some things that you can say, I did that too. I'm doing this too. This is good enough. This is just as good.
Oh, you know, many different things. One, beat selection. I think that I've garnished a great ear of production that's on a high level. You know what I mean?
Right.
So That's one. For two, arrangement. You know what I mean? I think that just, the whole vision and outlook, my nigga, you can put it in the deck, press play, and let it go. You know what I mean? You don't have to skip a record. You're gonna get your full breakfast. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's another thing. Sound control. Like I said, man, a lot of people don't really take their sound quality serious. I do. You know what I mean? I think that can definitely make or break a project. You know what I'm saying? You just said it yourself, nigga. Shit, I'm listening to it on my phone. Like you really critique it. You know the levels of this shit. You like, nigga, I'm doing it on the phone. I'm doing it on the beats, and I'm gonna do it in the car. So you a nigga who really listens to music. You know what I'm saying? And you one of the reasons why I gotta do that, because I gotta turn you into a fan. You feel me? I look at, like, again, you might be like, yo, these records is fire, but you are the consumer and listener to where it got to be soothing to the ear. If that shit ain't soothing to the ear, you might as well turn it off, no matter what type of record I got.
Right. So you thinking about the consumer when you
absolutely
when you push. Okay.
Yeah, at the end, I'm definitely packaging it up to make sure that I got all my check boxes to give myself a pure shot. You know what I mean? That's the thing, a pure shot. I got to make sure that my imagery, from the art to everything, is all on point to hone you in. Because so right now, I think that I've done that, and now, like I said, I'm gearing up to give you that full LP. So instead of you stumbling upon it, when niggas start seeing that promotion, you be like, oh, I already know what's about to come. I gotta get that.
Yes.
Hit that. Matter of fact, I gotta pre-save that motherfucker. Boop. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, see, when you say a lot of those terms, like you said, consumer, converting you into a fan, so on and so forth, those are executive words.
Absolutely.
Those are business words, CEO words. So,
absolutely,
we see you listed as an executive, as a founder. That was really key to me. Like, that's big talk. That's billionaire talk. When you start saying founder, so that's very intentional. And you list artists last. So what's your strategy? What's your take on balancing the executive side and the art?
Well, right now, man, like I said, everything is on my back as far as being a visionary. You know what I mean? Like I said, my highly favorite is out. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, shout out to my team. It's a proud moment as an independent artist and an independent owner, to know that we, hit number 25 and was able to get some hardware. That's a testament to our team.
Congratulations, man.
Appreciate you, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's a testament to everybody who put that work in. Like, one, we not crazy, and for two, let's double down and go harder. You know what I mean? We know we're deserving to be here. You know what I mean? Believe that. But like I said, the highly favored EP is out. I'm gonna probably drop another one, a highly favored 2. Then we're gonna get into my, like I said, full length LP called The Purpose. And then like I said, through that, there's a couple artists I got my eye on right now that I'm definitely gonna, bring into through the pipelines, and like I said, give them an opportunity and a shot. And I'm fall back and get my executive producer on, help these guys garnish your ear. You know what I mean? Have these guys really understudy and take some of these things that I've just been explaining to you guys to use on on their journey. Let them know how important mix and mastering is, how important picking out beat selection and arranging their project is. You know what I mean, to gain supporters and fans.
There it is.
Wow. You already got a vision for funneling in artists and just being over them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
That's different, man.
Yeah, nah. Like I said, man, but that's just going by studying some of these these greats. Like I said, I studied game. You know what I mean, nigga? All this time with me being beside Rose, I'm definitely in that motherfucker taking notes.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
I'm just trying to, like I said, man, I'm just trying to humbly do my part, man, put in my work, and hopefully get us to where we got to go, man, so we can all live life and live it to the highest level.
Can you give us 2 gems the boss gave you?
Man, yeah. The first one was what did he say? He said, Measure your success on not how much you make, but how many people you bless. You know what I mean? And I took that, dearly. I think who else he said? He told somebody else that, but he told me that too, and it stuck with me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna base my success off of, buying that new Wraith or that new Phantom, but I'm gonna base my success on, what I mean, knowing that, the niggas who with me, what I'm saying, was able to, what I mean, live life, what I'm saying, and take care of their families and loved ones off of a dream that we put on paper and executed. You know, that's what it's about. Empowering your circle. He's big on that. One thing about Ross is he's big on, empowerment. He's big on also, I gotta say this because he's probably, I met a lot of artists and executives in my time, but Ross is probably the most fulfilling. And what I mean fulfilling is he wants to give the game to people. He wants to, you know what I mean? Any question you have, he wants to see you win. He wants to see, you know what I mean? And he's going to help you any way he can, you know what I mean, to do so.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's big. So it segues perfectly because I want to get into the Evans administration.
Yeah.
So, as executive of the Evans administration, what are some traits that you're looking for in someone who wants to join the Evans administration?
Man, a few things, you know what I'm saying? The first is passion. You know what I'm saying? You got to have the drive and work ethic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a big thing. One thing about TEA, the Evans administration, is we work. You know what I'm saying? We all work. You know what I mean? And I always believe in picking the Kobe Bryants at what they do. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm picking you for. I'm picking you. You may be the marketing guru. You know what I'm saying? And something may come up, and some other company may be like, "Well, Richie, you need to do this," and I'm like, "Hold on, I'm gonna look at my man." And if my man's shaking his head, that's what I. All right, I'm running with you because I believe in you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
sir.
and we running with it. So definitely, man, hard work, consistency, passion, solid character traits, man. Like I said, people got to understand, man, this shit is not overnight. It's going to take time. You know what I mean? It's definitely, it's definitely, it's definitely going to take a team. You know what I'm saying? And as long as everybody understands that and are on the same page and have just a general respect for the process, you know what I mean? Of course, as a team, we're gonna bump our heads sometimes. We may disagree or dislike, but as long as the respect and the understanding of that, that's gonna happen, and we're able to, like I said, lock in and withstand that pressure, we good. You know what I mean?
Does having your team allow you to create the best art you can?
Absolutely.
Can you
Absolutely.
explain the importance in that on having people that takes care of your marketing, your networking, making sure, hey, this is what Richie needs to do. Let's make it easy for Richie so he can create the best music he can. Can you explain
Yeah.
how that feels?
Again, you know what I'm saying? It comes with time. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I mean, like I said, the people that are with me are people that been with me for some years. You know
right,
what I'm saying? A lot of this shit, like I said, is trial and error. You know what I mean? We made some mistakes, but like I said, we all huddled back, re-outlined, re-advised, and re-executed. You know what I
right.
mean? But like I said, having a team and having people, you know what I mean, on your roster who are, how can I say this? Everybody on my team is selfless. There's no ego because, you know, any and everybody should be able to do any or everything that's needed. You know what I
Right.
mean? Even myself. You know what I mean? I don't, I always say nobody's, bigger than the program, not even me. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I wouldn't be in this position without the other people around and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like I said, now, I mean, we just live by a different code, man. Like I said, when it's time to work, we definitely buckle down and we get to it. You know what I mean? Everybody plays an important role. When it's go time, it's go time.
Right.
Yes, I love it. I hear the consistent influence of sports. Nobody's bigger than the program.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So, you on your business talk, you got the music, you got the team. Something I want to know is what is your take on investing?
Man, truthfully speaking, man, like I'm super big on investing. And the reason why I say that was just because, like I said early on in my career, man, you know, when you get a little bit of success in this industry, you feel at times this shit gonna last forever. You know, when I first was with Game, you know, nigga, he the biggest name out. I'm in double XL, big chain, and I'm running around LA like, nigga, it's me, it's up. You know what I mean? And when everything kind of started slowing down, you know, I really didn't put all of my ducks in a row as I should have. I had some, but you know what I'm saying, not as much as I would like.
Right.
When I start forming the Evans administration, I made sure that, you know what I mean, there was investments in place, you know what I'm saying, to one, help support the goal and dream that we pushing, but even also, you know what I mean, if it didn't work, you know what I'm saying, I had some things in play where nobody was going to walk away empty-handed from the time and effort that they've already put in. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I definitely believe in investing. I definitely, you know, got a few things outside of music, you know what I'm saying, that definitely help thrive this goal and this vision and mission that we own.
It's big, big.
That's big. I got a fun question for you.
Yeah.
If I'm an artist right now and I drop a song,
Okay.
or I got a song that I'm about to drop, what's the first thing I should do?
I mean, you know, I'm gonna keep it generic. I'm gonna just say, you know, make sure you got a plan in place. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm gonna say.
If you
And
if you planning around this release, what's some things that's on your checklist? Like just one song, because you dropped the EP, you did a song with Ross,
yeah,
you had a song with Mano. If
yeah.
I'm just dropping a solo joint, just me as a new artist,
Okay.
what's some things that you would check off to make sure this solo joint with just me on it is
Mhm.
gonna maximize me or help me get out there?
I mean, like I said, I mean, what I did was just, I mean, I would drop maybe a couple singles. You know what I'm saying? Definitely make sure that I hired the publicist and the marketing team to get it to where it needs to be. Definitely would interact with, you know what I'm saying, my cameraman to make sure that I get the content to thrive it and push it to where it needs to be. I would definitely gauge the temperature of the support that I'm getting. You know what I mean? If niggas is really fucking with it, I'm gonna definitely double down and push it a little bit harder. If not, I'm gonna try to come up with some creative ways in the meantime for it to catch before I end up giving up and dropping another record. Like prime example, before that I even dropped the EP, people got to understand. I dropped the first record that I dropped first was the first single was "Let Me Talk That Shit." I dropped that first, you know, and again, I strategically dropped the street record first because I wanted niggas to respect it. Like, damn, who is that? Like that nigga, that shit hard than a motherfucker. Okay, he coming hard. I dropped "Let Me Talk That Shit" first, and then you know we pushed it. You know what I'm saying? Got it out there. World Star did all that. People start like asking questions. Then I followed up with a radio record after, which was the For You record with me and Vito. You know what I mean? Went to we did the regional radio run at that particular time, did the MTV BET. Now I'm starting to get a national look. Now, you know what I'm saying, Shorties is on me, you know what I'm saying? Buzz is starting to ring a little bit more. Okay. Damn, I think I just seen Buddy on World Star with that Let Me Talk That Shit. Okay, he got 2 joints out. Name is still circulating and ringing. Got the EP done. Okay, now let me get everybody's attention. What I did was I dropped the Can't Knock the Hustle record the same day I dropped my EP. And the reason why I did that was because I knew that I was going to get so much attention and so much look by having Ross on it. So instead of you just clicking the single, no, nigga, go ahead and click the whole shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I said that definitely benefited, you know what I'm saying, me and what we had going on. So, like I said, I would just definitely, man, make sure a nigga have a game plan. You know what I mean? I would put out a couple records first, make sure my content was up, make sure I had a little bit of change for a publicist and some marketing things, and then I would be off to the races.
There you go.
Content and marketing.
Yeah.
How important do you think Spotify playlisting and YouTube is?
Absolutely important. You know what I'm saying? I understand that a lot of people, it's hard for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? To try to get on them, Spotify playlists and them rap caviars and things like that. But, that's where you got to do your research, man, and find some of these, radio reps, you know what I'm saying, who work in that lane. You know what I mean? To help pitch it, to help get you to where you need to go. You know what I mean? The Spotify playlisting helped me tons, you know what I'm saying, with the pressure record with me and J Rock, and also the Can't Knock the Hustle. It was strong enough and garnished the attention by some of these editors where they was able to put me on these playlists with listeners that I would have never thought that would become fans. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's definitely important.
So you going on those smaller lists helped you get on the bigger list because they saw you everywhere.
Absolutely.
Right.
Genius. I have a 2-part question.
Okay.
So, love the thought process of the business and the marketing. I also think here's one thing I want to talk about. When it comes to Phoenix, right? I want to do a little Mount Rushmore talk.
Yeah.
In 10 years from now, could you see yourself on the Mount Rushmore of artists that come out of Phoenix?
Absolutely. I'm on it now.
I love
it. You might know he's him now. You know what I'm saying? But nah.
Let me talk my
hold on. Let me talk my shit. But nah, he's him now. But that's my excuse me, that's my thing. I'm hoping, within the next few years, man, that there's other artists besides myself, man, who are on that same type of mission. You know what I mean, to really uplift the city and state, to be like, man, shit, we got Richie over here, we got so and so over here, we got so and so over here. So I'm hoping we do get to that level,
Yeah, and as for you, how do you feel like for your people in Phoenix, how would the city benefit from that exposure, that structure that like the New York and Chicago and Atlanta has established, even like Houston?
Yeah.
Like, how would that benefit the music scene?
Oh man, absolutely. And again, let me be clear. Like, we're definitely gaining that right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the city right now is thriving on a whole. I mean, you know what? We got Kevin Durant out this motherfucker now. You know what I mean? Shout out my man Bradley Beal out here now. I mean, there's a lot of, moving pieces, you know what I'm saying, that's definitely starting to help and push the culture a little bit further. Not even just, music. You know what I'm saying? All of these things play a part to cultivate what we're trying to do. You know what I mean? So I give it a couple more years, man. I give it maybe 3 years and it will be fully thriving. You know what I mean?
Kyrie on the way?
Man, matter of fact, my partner told me they're gonna be here tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? My man, he move around with him, but I guess they taking a meeting tomorrow out here. So we're gonna definitely see how that goes.
Breaking news.
That's gonna be great. Shock the Culture exclusive.
Exclusive.
Man,
Richie Evans, man, said, hold on.
Yeah, no, and matter of fact, it's on Sports Center too. They
but hey, you there.
Yeah. No, definitely.
That's crazy.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So what you hinted towards the EP and the album you got coming up. You dropping both of those by the end of the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like I said, right now, man, between me and y'all, like, it's a Shock the Culture exclusive. You know what I mean? I'm definitely in album mode right now. You know what I'm saying, locking in with Cool and Dre. Shout out to my man Drummer Boy, you know what I'm saying, got some joints from him. Who else we got over there, man? I got some shit, you know what I mean? Shout out to my superstar A&R, my man Gilly, you know what I'm saying? He definitely been tapped in with these producers trying to get the right sound and feel for what we got going on. So now we definitely working. I'm gonna definitely circle back and drop a highly favorite 2 on them. And like I said, definitely load up for my full-length LP called The Purpose. So,
You
Yeah.
got a release date on Highly Favored too?
I don't, because like I said, you know, the crazy thing about it, there's a record that's on the EP called Quit Playing that's just been organically taken off by itself.
With the Ronald Isley sample.
And we literally, you know what I'm saying, are scheduled to shoot the video on it. So, you know, nobody wants to, you know, undercut the EP. If it's still moving strong and still, you know, serving units, you know, we still want to push it to its last wheels. So, like I said, right now, man, I'm just, you know, fine tuning the Highly Favored 2, and like I said, bulking up on the album. So, but it will, you know, I mean, we will drop, you know, both of them, you know, before the year's out, though.
Right.
Y'all working, man. Love it.
Oh, I love it too, man. That's y'all boys working. So, you got any words of encouragement for any artists out there that's you know wanting to make it? They want to be heard.
Yeah,
They want to do this music thing. I don't want
man,
to necessarily say, you know, I know everybody's goal isn't to get a record deal,
right.
but just somebody that wants to be heard and known as an artist. You got any words of encouragement for them?
Man, I'm just got to say, man, keep God first, believe in yourself, and execute. You know what I mean? I live by this mantra, man. My head down, chest out, and my prayers up, and I'm pushing. You know, this shit ain't easy. It's not for the light and faint. You know what I mean? Like I said, as long as you believe in yourself, you know what I'm saying, and you believe in the product that you pushing, it definitely can happen. You know what I mean? You know, you're going to hear a lot of no's. There's going to be some situations that may throw a little glitch in your matrix, but just know that's all a part of the process, baby. Keep smashing.
Keep smashing. Keep smashing.
Let's get it.
Well,
Hey.
You got anything, Kurt?
Oh no, I just want to say, I was about to say the same thing you said, man. Thank you, bro. You dropped gems.
Man.
Thank you.
And thank you for being dope. Like, for real.
Appreciate you, man. Like I said, I appreciate y'all sharing your platform with me, man. You know, all the new listeners and supporters. Make sure you get that new EP, Highly Favored, that's out right now. Definitely make sure you get that single, Can't Knock the Hustle, featuring me and my guy Rose. Man, you know what I mean? Check me out on Instagram. My Instagram is Who Is Richie. You know what I mean? Talk to me. I talk back, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely out here trying to blend and do high level shit with high level people. So I'm with you on everything.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, y'all click the links in this description. We actually put the links to the Instagram, the EP, Can't Knock the Hustle. We put all that in the description. So it's right there for y'all to click right now.
Oh man. Man, and like I said, let's make sure that we end up keeping in contact too, man. I like what y'all doing. Anything that I can do on my end, I'm gonna make sure that we send y'all some merch. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that we also get y'all on our exclusive list. So usually I'll send my single or new record out before to a certain people that I respect. You know, they ear and mind, and get some feedback before we put it out to the masses. So I'm gonna tell Vic to make sure they put you guys on that list.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it.
No.
Yeah.
Sir.
Shock the culture.
Shock the culture. Let's get it. Richie Evans.
My man.
Let's get it.
I appreciate y'all, man, on everything.
Yes, sir. Likewise, bro. Likewise.